Yellow. Our Mike is quite the specimen, isn't he? Everything he's encoded into his body is still there. Considering how long it's been since his last fight. Sure, Roy is a smaller man. He didn't even look that much smaller. That was really weird too, wasn't it? Standing side by side, it's hard to tell who the smaller man is. Of course, Mike's legs are just way bigger than the Kung Fu Rooster. The Kung Fu Rooster, I didn't even notice this, but he has a rooster on his shorts. But yeah, the Kung Fu Rooster had much smaller legs in comparison.
Nature is also a Bible. Nature has always been my Bible. Why you love animals, why you love chickens, why... That's where I learned God's teachings from. I couldn't be world champion if I let my father make me a gelding, mentally and emotionally. If I didn't beat that, I never would have made it in boxing. I'm also big on the Kung Fu movies. I love the roosters, so let me see how I can incorporate the roosters into my style.
Back to the point. Mike Tyson says a lot of interesting things, and one of the things he often says is that it's not about the style. That's one thing we always look at, the techniques he's using, and of course Cus D'Amato had a very strong emphasis on technical foundation, but for Iron Mike, it was the morale, the intention, the energy behind the style.
I look at life as energy, and you don't bring your age to the table, you bring your energy to the table. You don't go meet people, hey, I'm Bob, I'm 59. You don't do that. You say, I'm Bob, I'm such and such, and you do it with enthusiasm too, because enthusiasm is contagious, and you want the same response. I think of myself as grandeur. I would think of myself as a roaring gladiator like Alexander the Great. I feel like I'm a ruler when I'm in my mind thinking about accomplishing something. I think nothing's impossible to somebody who tries. I don't think succeed from a material standpoint is an inside job. The more you're comfortable with you, the more you be comfortable with death. And the more comfortable you are with death, the more at peace you are with yourself. I never think of myself as old, I think of myself as energy. I always say some energy to come into the ring. The energy makes us as old as we want to be. Without the pressure, there's no me. Anything that I'm afraid to do, I do it. When I was young, when I was afraid to ask out a beautiful girl or whoever, I would do it. Even if she was saying no, I would just do it just because I was afraid to do it.
The energy was always very important to him, and he even drew parallels between having a conversation with someone, the energy behind the conversation, or even talking to a pretty girl, like the energy you approach her with. This is something I've gone through in my work time and time again, but that's just it. This understanding of energy, it's something you see gleaming from Mike. We can all feel it. We know what he's talking about when you just see him communicate. It's that old Mike that he forged in his youth.
People say, well, his style's gonna make him difficult, this style. No, it's not the style that matters, it's the morale behind the style that matters. It's the intention and the fierceness and the malice and the contempt, the hurt in this particular sport.
You approach the situation with an energy, and that's the message Mike has always communicated. And it's true, absolutely, I believe that's true, but it's not something that we want to acknowledge. We always want to acknowledge outside sources, because if you acknowledge the energy, what do you have to do? You have to acknowledge yourself. You have to look at the man in the mirror and do what you can to correct that energy. Say you're enveloped with fear. Look at fear like it's a blessing, that it's a challenge for you to overcome, a justification for you to do in the first place. You're afraid of that. Perfect. I want to work on overcoming my fear. This is an opportunity to do that. I want to transcend my fear, and without the fear, I wouldn't have a justification to go out and do it in the first place.
Without the pressure, there's no me.
Emotional intelligence. This is something Mike has communicated as well.
But I believe style is relevant. I believe it's the morale behind the style. Success in fighting in life is about desire and the will. This true greatness is the willingness to die. So if this thing worth greatness, when the universe put the light on you, there's nothing stronger than a person whose time has come. Emotional intelligence. The majority of the world don't even possess. The world is not even 50 years old. This is going to be a struggle for the next 100 years. It'll have to be our main objective to develop that in order to succeed as human beings.
Definitely, through his example. I think we should take these understandings, and through them, we could definitely make the world a better place. If we change our inner world, we change our outer world. And the more people working on themselves to make themselves better for the greater good, I think the better the world will be overall. I genuinely believe that. And to that end, thank you for the privilege, as always, Mike. And truly, thank you for this lesson. Thank you to all of you watching, and thanks. Until next time, peace.